Hi, this is Tania. This is the next installment to my A to Z of pop. On this installment, I'm going to be talking about the letter K. I'll be talking about my favorite female artist of all time. Her name is Kylie. Kylie Minogue, as you probably guessed by now. She was my true idol of all time. I love her with my life. I grew up with Kylie Minogue, not with her personally, of course. I grew up with her music, her career, everything about her. I grew up with her because we were both, believe it or not, born the same year. I was born in 1968 and so was she. Except the only difference is she's born in May and I was born in December. So she's a Gemini and I'm a Sagittarius. That's the only difference. But we're both born the same year, so in other words, we're both the same age. She's 45, believe it or not, and I'm going to be 45 this year. I still find it hard to believe. She does not look a day of it. I think she looks absolutely incredible. She does not look 45 at all. She only looks about her 30s. She looks incredible. She's the most beautiful woman imaginable. She's just an amazing woman, and I love her with my life. She grew up in Melbourne, Australia. She's Australian, of course. And you might find Minogue is an unusual surname because it's, as you know, it's Irish. It's an Irish name. She must have Irish, I think, because I think with our parents, I think one of our parents' ancestors, I think, was born in Ireland. I can't remember. Something to do with some ancestors in the family or a member of the family that's Irish. I can't remember which is which. I think it was one of her parents. I think one of her parents is Irish. I think it's her mum. She's born in, her mother was born in Ireland, I think, and she emigrated to Australia, I think in the 50s or so, 60s, I can't remember. And Kylie was born in 1968. So her mother was emigrated in the 50s to Australia. And her mother, her name is Carol. And I look at pictures of Carol, her mother, when she was the same age as Kylie when she was in Neighbours. And the total resemblance, you'd actually think that was you'd actually think you were looking at Kylie Minogue, not Carol Minogue. It looks so similar. The features, the face, the hair, everything about her was just so identical to Kylie, the way she was when she was in Neighbours. So it's kind of like a mirror image. It's kind of looking at a mirror image of Kylie Minogue. If I put the two pictures together, Kylie Minogue's mother at 17 and Kylie Minogue at 17, you think of the same people, same person. It's just so identical. It's just incredible, the likeness between the two of them. She was very close to her mother, Kylie. She had a sister, Dani, as you probably know now, from Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model. And she was also a pop star herself, Dani. But she wasn't as successful as Kylie. She wasn't as big as Kylie. She's now doing Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model, and she was a judge on X Factor. But I'm focusing on Kylie now. Kylie was, she started off like, she started off in the entertainment, or had a first stab of acting at the age of 10 or 11 years old. She did a program called Skyways, a soap opera called Skyways in Australia at that age, at 11. And it was the first time she met Jason Donovan. It was on Skyways. They played brother and sister in that. So that's how their relationship started, really, you could say. It started off when they were 11 years old. and they grew up together, and they grew old together, more or less. She started off in that, and then she did the Henderson kids. It was the Henderson kids, and I can't remember what sort of character she had. I can't remember her character's name in that, unfortunately. But I know she dyed her hair red in that. It's basically based on a family called the Hendersons. Um, I think her character is kind of one of those tearaways. You know, she's always looking out for trouble, I suppose, like that. And she always wanted her own way. In other words, she's kind of spoiled. And she made up with this boy, and had a relationship. And the parents, I don't think they were happy about this relationship or something. They didn't want her to go, and didn't want her being in contact with any boys. No boys were allowed. And she was, she's really, she wasn't happy about that. And she got upset, and they had a lot of arguments, I suppose you could say. Battles between herself and her parents, because she wasn't allowed to have any boyfriends. That was probably the storyline, based on the storyline. That was part of the storyline about her character. Was like, but she's a bit of a tearaway. And from that, she moved to Neighbours, which is that's what I know her more for, really. Her character Charlene Mitchell, and she was in that from the age of 17 years old. She's about 17, 18, I think, when she started in that. And then she met Jason Donovan again on the set, the second time. It's the first time they saw each other since they were kids, since they did the Skyways. And in this one, they started seeing each other, going out, then ended up having a relationship, a girlfriend, boyfriend kind of thing. And then they ended up, and the first, Kylie's on-screen mother didn't approve, and then she got used to him and got to like him eventually. She liked him eventually. I think she liked him, but she liked him, but she wasn't too sure whether he was right for her. But she was proved wrong later on, and then they ended up getting married, and they were about 18, I think, when they married, and they had a bit of a rough. Marriage was all right. Then it kind of had a bit of a rough patch, and they ended up, I think, breaking up or something. Something happened between them. Marriage didn't work out. So Charlene decided to leave. She left the soap, I think. She was about she was 18 still. She wasn't in it. She stayed in it for about 2-3 years. I think it was 2 or 3 years. I think she was 2 or 3 years. So she must have been 16, 17. Must have been earlier than 16 or 17 that she joined it. So I made a mistake there. She was there about 2 or 3 years. She left when she was about 18. It was later on that year that she turned 18 that she left. And her character ran off in a little mini. Unfortunately, it was kind of a mini. She ended up. She ended up leaving. She left the square in a mini. In other words, and Scott was very upset. He didn't want her to go. Didn't want her to leave. He wanted her to stay. But in real life, Kylie herself was going to concentrate on music charts. She's going to go to the music charts. Her first single in Australia was The Locomotion. And a second single there was I Was So Lucky. And over here, her first single was I Was So Lucky, and the second one was The Locomotion. So it was kind of back to front, in other words. So she was very popular in the 80s, 90s, noughties, and she's still popular today. She's popular right from then, right to the present day. She's in the music now over 25 years. She's nearly 30 years into the music industry. Must be at least 30 years in the music industry now. She's in a long time, in a very long time. So she's 25 years in 2005. So she must be at least 30 years old, 30 years in the music industry now, nearly more or less. And she's still going strong today. In 2005, unfortunately, she had a bit of a bit of a disaster, a bit of a bad time. During her tour, her showgirl tour in April of that year, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was devastated. I did not want to lose my idol at all. I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want her to die. I didn't want her to end up dying. And I wanted her to stay alive, because the music industry would be lost without her in the charts. It would be just, music would be pointless without Kylie Minogue in the charts. She is my true idol, and I love her. And thankfully, she caught the cancer early, so she was lucky. She caught it early, and which gave her 80% chance of survival. She was free. She was on remission, and they said you had to be at least 5 years free of cancer before you can get the all clear. And she was now over 5 years, and she hasn't had any it hadn't returned since. So in other words, she's been clear ever since, and long may that last. I've seen her loads of times. I've seen her back in the 90s. I've seen her back in the noughties. My last concert I went to see of her was the Aphrodite tour. It was incredible. It was kind of based on a Greek mythology kind of style setting. The Greek goddess, in other words. It's based on that. And the album is fantastic. The album that goes with it is fantastic. My very first Kylie Minogue concert was way back in 1991, believe it or not. And it was in the Point Depot. I went to see her about like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Countless. I've lost count how many times I've seen her live. And she is incredible. She does an amazing concerts. She always does incredible performances. And she never lets her fans down. So hopefully she will continue on doing that and trying and just continue on with the music and her career, and keep going strong as ever, and pleasing her fans, and do more concerts, live concerts, and release more albums. She's working. She has had a new album out last year called The Sessions, the Abbey Road Sessions. She did kind of cabaret versions, you could say, maybe, of all her hits, all of her greatest hits, and kind of cabaret kind of sound, kind of jazzy feel. Changed the style of the music. Kind of cabaret kind of sound to the music, very different sound. It's not poppy, it's kind of slow, autistic kind of sound. So I wish her every success in her career, and a long may it rain. And thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed watching me my talk on Kylie Minogue, the true goddess of pop. Thank you. Bye.